A graceful visitor to South African waters showed up off Cape Town just in time for Christmas. She's the full-rigged ship Denmark, a Danish training vessel. The Denmark is fitted with an auxiliary engine, but the Danes believe there is no substitute for training seamen under sail, though this forms only about a quarter of their training. To the officers and 115 cadets on board, Cape Town presented a fascinating picture, and preparations had been made for their entertainment over the festive season. Their memories of South African hospitality will be only one impression they will carry back to their own fair land. They organized a little competition in Cape Town that must have been pretty trying for the judges. 24 young lads entered, and the judges had to decide which had the most freckles. It was all right for the kids. They were behind the freckles. But the judges had a severe attack of spots before the eyes. Prickly heat, German measles, and the subtle use of an eyebrow pencil were barred. And after several recounts, the winner was chosen. When interviewed, he said, "I didn't think they'd spot me." Mr. Simonides of Johannesburg has turned up more 11s than a pair of loaded dice. His grand old retriever Victor is 11 years old, which, if he were human, would make him 77. In the springtime, the old boy's fancy turned to Victoria, who is only 11 months old. On the 11th day of the month, Victoria presented him with 11 pups, 8 like father and 3 like herself. With justifiable pride, Victor and Victoria are singing a Canine cantata, Pup-a-pup-pup, and Let Us Away. The annual Christmas Day sports for mine natives at Runt Leases took on its usual pattern. There was the usual enormous field for the sack race, and the usual but unavailing cheating. The Christmas spirit was evident in the hurdles events, and the paper caps miraculously stayed on. Their extra weight, however, seemed to handicap the runners. There was bolster bar for those who could take it, and take it they certainly did. But in spite of the battering, the spirit of Christmas showed up again once in a while. The fight most enjoyed by the onlookers was a willing bout ending in a draw. Climbing the greasy pole became a team event, the sort of thing in which I usually get elected to bottom position. Mind you, it wasn't so easy for the chap on top, but a huge hunk of meat made a worthy prize. Having got the prize off the top of the greasy pole, the winners automatically rise to the top of the popularity pole. Members of the cast of Oklahoma attended the second test match as guests of the Transvaal Cricket Union. As this was the first cricket they'd ever seen, a good deal had to be explained. Miss Laverne Burden was enlightened by Jeff Treadwell, and Bob Lyon got the inside gen from Bruce Mitchell, even down to what a leg break is. Cricket, of course, doesn't suit every taste, but the music of Oklahoma certainly seems to. And by way of reciprocation, autographed albums of records from Oklahoma were presented to the South African team. The cricketers are naturally very much in the public limelight at present, and will be for the rest of the season. The stars of Oklahoma live in the limelight all year round, so it was a case of everyone seeing what makes the other's star shine. Dudley North tossed, George Mann called correctly, decided to bat on a plumb wicket, and South Africa took the field in the second test at Ellis Park. The first day was a scorcher from a weather, an attendance, and also from a cricketing point of view, with Washbrook and Hutton the central figures. Starting cautiously, they reached the stage where nothing bar a miracle could remove them, Washbrook being the more aggressive of the two. Even the keen South African fielding was of little avail, and Cyril Washbrook, who was batting like a book, reached his century. Shortly afterwards, although more subdued, Len Hutton followed suit, adding to the string of successes he has had on this tour. Nothing the bowlers could do on an unresponsive pitch could separate them, and both batsmen were generously applauded when they passed the world record for a first-wicket test match partnership. With the score of 359, Hutton was out for 158 off a very tired shot, but he wasn't the only one that was tired. Jack Krapp joined Washbrook, but they weren't together very long before, 5 short of his double century, Cyril Washbrook was caught a deep square leg. That brought Dennis Compton in, and the slaughter of steady bowling continued. Compton himself made 114. He always makes runs against the Springboks. And another big partnership followed. In spite of the fact that little further resistance was offered to our attack, the MCC finished their first innings with a mammoth total of 608. Faced with these astronomical figures, South Africa replied with a total of 315 and followed on, needing 293 to avoid an innings defeat. Bruce Mitchell, no stranger to such grim situations, played for time rather than runs and scored a painstaking 40. When he left, Eric Rowan was joined by Dudley North, who scored 56 not out. But the hero of the day was Eric Rowan himself, who carried his bat for 156 not out. Dropped for the next test, he had helped South Africa to draw a game they stood every chance of losing before the usual scramble for souvenirs took place.